Hey everyone, it's Mike from the SEO Pub. And a few weeks ago, I shared with you a sheet that I use to analyze click-through rate data from Google Search Console. And if you haven't caught that video, didn't see that SEO Pub chat, I will put a link to it down below. In this one, I'm going to share with you another sheet that I use. And this sheet is to analyze a lot more data from Google Search Console. And it's especially useful if you're trying to figure out where traffic losses came from. It's going to let you analyze data really easily on both the query level and the page level. So what you want to do for this one is you're going to have to export data from Google Search Console again, just like we did with the click-through rate sheet. But we want comparison data. So we're not going to look at just the last 28 days. Instead, we want to look at, and you can pick whatever time period you want. I'm just going to do the last 28 days, but you could do last 28 days year over year. You could do last 3 months. You can do a custom date range. Any data that you can pull from Search Console, you can use this sheet from. So any of those comparisons. So we're gonna go ahead and select that, and then we are going to export the data into a sheet. Okay. Now, once this exports into a sheet, this is the Google sheet that I'm gonna share with you, and there'll be a link down in the description for this. I'm gonna show you how to use this. There's two things that you're gonna want to copy and paste. The first is we're on the Queries tab. So you're just going to select everything, copy the whole thing. And on this tab here where it says Import Data Queries, you want to make sure that you have cell A1 selected and paste the data. And then go back to the export. And you also want the page data. Select it all, copy it, go back to the Google Sheet, and you're going to look at the tab that says Import Data Pages. Again, make sure you have your cursor, you have cell A1 selected, paste all of that data. Now, when you go back to the first two tabs, we'll go to the query analysis, it pulls all that data, it sorts it nice and neat for you. It makes it a lot easier to read than trying to look through this stuff here. It also will highlight for you. For example, this is the change. So this is the clicks for the last 28 days compared to the previous 28 days, and it will highlight any queries that lost clicks for the past 28 days. Like here's one where the search term got 20 less clicks compared to what it did the previous 28 days. It also does the same thing for impressions. If we look over here, and it will highlight the queries that have lost impressions. And you can do the same thing for ranking, so for search positions, and then for click-through rates. Besides using this to find places where you've lost traffic, you can also show where you've gained traffic or where ranking positions have improved or where impressions have improved. And each of these columns, you also have a filter set up. So if we want to, let's say we were worried that this site lost traffic recently, and we wanted to see where that was coming from, you can sort from A to Z, and it will sort them as the biggest losers basically will be sorted first. You can do the same thing then, same thing for impressions, and it will show the biggest losers there. Position, click-through rate, same thing, and it will sort search terms that have lost the most impressions, or I'm sorry, in this case, the ranking position. You can also look at the biggest gainers. So if we wanted to sort it by the ones that have moved up the most in ranking, we can do that. Or if you want to see which queries are bringing the most traffic, you would just do the opposite, pull that up, and you can see which queries have gained the most the last 28 days compared to the previous 28 days. And again, you can pick any date range that you can pull from Search Console, you can use this. Now, along with looking at the search terms, there's also another tab here. We imported the data from the pages. So you can also analyze this on a page level, and it's exact same column. So if you want to see which pages lost the most traffic, you can sort that right here, and you can see which pages lost the most traffic. Same thing for, again, for impressions, ranking position, average. This will be average position for all the queries that page shows up for, and then as well as the click-through rate. So you can this gives you a really easy way to, again, I use this most often when I'm trying to identify where we've lost traffic, or if there's any, pages or queries that have underperformed, and figure out why and what happened there. So again, I'll have a link down below. What you want to do to use the sheet yourself is go to File, hit Make a Copy, and you'll have a copy of it yourself. And then each time you use it, you can make a copy. You can make as many copies as you want. If you want to save this data to use, you can do that. Just make another copy and of a blank sheet and start there. If you need to do, you have another website or another date range you want to check. Or the other thing you can do is go back to these pages. You can just delete out all the data, and as soon as you delete everything, it goes right back to a blank sheet for you, and everything is out of there. So I hope you find this useful. That's it for this video. If you haven't signed up yet for the SEO Pub mailing list, make sure you go to the SEOpub.com. Every Thursday, I send out strategies, tips, and tools like this that I use every single day with my clients. All right, I'll catch everyone in the next video.